let's continue our conversation on Stoicism. What I thought we would do today is talk a bit about the everyday practice of Stoicism. Sorry, it was really up close, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Talk a bit about the everyday practice of Stoicism. Stoicism is a pragmatic philosophy designed by Zeno to not be an academic discipline, but to actually help people. And I found myself the past days to be a bit stressed. There were different things going on. None of them were terrible. Nobody has to worry. But they were just the everyday things that happen in life that can make people feel stressed and a bit anxious. And it was affecting my mood. So I thought what we would do today is kind of talk about how I got myself out of that funk. Not because I'm anything special, but in hopes that it may help other people as well. So when you are, I think really, I've made this distinction before, but it's an important distinction. When you are really focused on the past, you tend to get feelings that are more depressed because you're thinking back to the past. When you try to project yourself into the future, then you typically get more anxious about things that may happen. So the past, things have happened, make you depressed, and the future, things that may happen that can make you anxious. And I find myself in a little bit of a mix of both, actually, where I was ruminating a bit on things from the past, which made me sad, but also thinking about some things that are likely to happen in the near future, which also made me sad. Again, there's nothing to be worried about. Everything is fine. It's just everybody has things in their life, right? That do that kind of stuff. So I thought to myself yesterday in the afternoon, how do I handle this? How do I want to feel better? What do I do? And of course, then I reach for Stoicism because that's my thing. So the first thought I had was, you take it back to Epictetus, the opening lines of the Enchiridion, right? Some things are within your control, other things are not within your control. True. Some things are a little bit of a mix of both. They're a little bit under your control, but if they're a little bit under your control, you can exert that level of control, and you shouldn't be worried, because that's the basic thought, right? Like, why would you be worried about something that's within your control? It's within your control. Why would you worry about something that's not within your control? You can literally not do anything about it. And that helped me a little bit, but it wasn't enough. It was not enough to make me feel better. So I had to think about what else. What else can I do to try and get me out of this funk? And a line from another book struck me, and it's not a Stoic book. I've mentioned it before, the Hagakure, which is a manual for samurai. And Bushido, the Japanese way of the warrior, is really not Stoicism, but those two philosophies of life do have some touching points where they're a little similar. And the line that struck me, that just popped into my head, was, there is nothing outside the thought of the immediate moment. And then I felt better. It dissipated, and let me explain why I felt better. When you find yourself reaching into the past a lot, that's more my nature. I don't typically get very worried about the future. I find myself more drawn to the past, thinking back to things that happened in the past. This is just personality, right? This is just how we're wired. That's fine. For other people, it would be more anxiety-driven things. But, like I said, in this particular case, I was also a little worried about things that are likely to happen in the near future. And that one idea was able to pull me out of that. But there is nothing outside the thought of the immediate moment. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. I mean, look back to it once in a while. Learn from it. Sure. Look to the future once in a while, plan, think about how you will handle things as they come up. But at the end of the day, there is nothing outside right now. Right now, we exist. You're watching this video. You breathe. You live. But we don't know what's going to happen a year from now, or a month from now, a week from now, or even 10 seconds from now. For all we know, there's an asteroid rushing to the Earth, and it's going to impact 10 seconds from now, and after that, probably would see it at this point, but you get the point. It's going to eradicate all life on Earth. We don't know. It could happen. Probably won't happen, but I mean, it theoretically, something catastrophic like that could happen. If something like that were to happen, well, in that case, you can't really see... Well, I suppose you could see it coming, but you know what I mean? You can't really see it coming. You can't plan for that eventuality. But there is the immediate moment. And that is now. You are here now. What will happen in the future, that will happen then, and you will deal with it then. The best way you can. What else can you do? What happened in the past? Well, that is now immutable. No one can change it unless someone invented time travel, forgot to tell me. So realistically, you cannot change the past. You can do certain things within reason about the future. But whatever happens, or has happened, you are here now. Right now. And I find that an incredibly grounding thought. It pulled me out of that funk straight away. But I'm here now. And now. And now. Moment by moment. Look too far ahead in the future, you become anxious. Look too far ahead in the past, you can get depressed. Right now. Again, not to say never to look at the past or the future, but try to stay here most of the time. And that'll help. It's a type of mindfulness, and that mindfulness is really not my thing. That's not an approach that really works for me, typically. But in this case, it did. Understand that you are a person who's evolving. I am no longer the person I was 7 minutes and 20 seconds ago. Physically. A lot of my cells have changed. There's been a turnover. They've changed. Some of my cells have died. My body's created new cells. I'm physically different. But I'm also mentally different because I've had this conversation with you. So, the two of us have changed. And that's great. Hopefully we've changed for the better. But vitally, we're both here right now. And whatever will cross our path, whatever will happen, and we will deal with that then. But there is no real point in being excessively worried or letting your mood be disrupted by thoughts of, well, this could happen and this could happen. How am I going to handle it if this happens? Sure, do it a little bit. Be prepared. But don't let it preoccupy you. Don't let it take over your mind. You're in control of your mind. Remember, this is another core tenet in Stoicism. The top part of your mind, the most rational part of your mind, that is what you use to control yourself. Your thoughts, your feelings, your passions. That is required. Use that part of your mind. Reasoning your way out of these kinds of things is possible. Not with clinical depression or clinical anxiety. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the normal, everyday, simple things in life that everybody experiences. That's where something like Stoicism can be helpful. And that is where I found that philosophy very helpful yesterday. I hope this was useful. Let me know what you think about this approach. Let me know if you use something similar or you do different things. How do you get yourself out of a funk where you feel that your mood is being affected? How do you do it? Because I think it would be interesting for people to read different strategies that different people use. That's it. I hope this was useful. I'll be back next week. More talk about Stoicism.